initially we always think if we provide value, it's going to get engagement, right? But people can get value anywhere that they want. They could go to LinkedIn or to YouTube and see the same 100 people talking about the exact same message. And I learned that the hard way because I was like you, just trying to post value after value after value. But what I realized is that no one cared about the value that I posted. They cared about me, like about the person speaking it, right? You know, and I was like, why don't people care about the value that I give? I know this works. I know this can help other people because it's helped me in the past as well. It's generated good revenue for the businesses that I've worked with, but no one cares. And I'm like, why is that happening? And I came to realize that it's not really the value that people want. They more so attached to the personality that is spitting the value, so to say. And if they can actually resonate with who you are as a person, they like your humor, they like your personality, then that's where you get your engagement. So that once I realized that, I started being my weird self. Unfortunately, this is a habit I'm trying to get rid of. I swear, I cuss a lot when I speak. I don't do it overtly in my content, but like I just let it go when I'm speaking, right? And people always said in the past, and I never really understood it, to be weird, be odd. There's no one else in the universe except yourself. And I guarantee you, to everybody who's out there who's trying to sanitize the way they look, is if you're truly yourself and you speak in a way where you're comfortable with your actions and your words, people will gravitate towards that, right? Because it's authentic. Whereas if you're doing the opposite, like when I was talking about the value and trying to look professional and so forth, I still do try to look professional, but authentic. But when I was just trying to put on a facade, no one cared.
Yeah, because even my team was like, yo, because I'm actually a funny guy. Like, I like to make jokes and make people laugh all the time in person, you know? But on social media, I don't really show that. And my team's like, show your funny side more. I was hanging out with them in Mexico. Like, show that, bro. Like, show that funny stuff. That people want to see that. And the other day, I did a session, I recorded like 12 videos. And I was like looking at scripts like to follow kind of the structure of those videos. And I felt so unnatural and I kept stopping and going. And it was like kind of a weird feeling. And then I went, like I left the studio, went to my office, and I spontaneously recorded some video. And like that video did pretty well because I was just like flowing as a one take. I was just talking natural. And it felt so much better, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel really called, like I feel like I need to be transitioning now to do more real videos, just be myself, just share the raw, authentic, whatever's in my heart kind of thing, whatever I'm doing in real life, instead of just trying to post this value, 3 steps to do this, or this is how you get this result. Like, I think those are good, but you gotta like balance it out.
As I'm sure you know, when you post the best content, there's a certain energy to it, right? Like you're in a right mind state, like the words just come out naturally, your ideas just pop up. What is that process like for you? Like, does it come randomly, or have you been able to find a way to generate it, like, or have a framework to get into that mind state when the time is required for you to be?
That's a good question, because the way it's been happening for me has been like in Mexico with my team on a retreat, or at the Woodstock Fruit Festival, like surrounded by just people eating fruits and being out in nature, where I didn't plan the content. So for me, those kind of pieces of content came out naturally in the moment. I was like, yo, grab my phone, record me, I have something to say. Like, remember that talking head in the pool?
Yeah.
I was like, yo, record me. Record me. And I just started spitting because it came to head. I think because I'm doing cool shit, I'm in nature, I'm exercising, I'm with amazing people, and like the creative spirit comes out without me being like, I have to work. So I think my error has been, because I'm working Monday to Saturday, sometimes Sunday, I'm like, I gotta do content, I gotta do this, and then it doesn't come out so naturally.
Yeah.
And then when I let go and I have a Sunday where I'm just chilling off, I make a bunch of cool content without trying because of my day off, and just like creative energy is flowing, you know?
Yeah, I totally get you. But that's the hardest part about it, right? Because it always comes when you least expect it. And like when you try to apply your organizational thinking or reasoning towards content, which is like in essence a creative endeavor, you end up losing all of your creative juices because you're just thinking in terms of like KPIs, right? Busting out content, hitting my schedule, making sure I provide value. And in essence, you just lose everything. So like very simple.
Putting out this many posts a day or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Being clinical about it basically, right? And I've been trying to, like you said, be able to channel the natural moments and really make the content part of my life, because I feel like that's when it's more natural. And I saw this thing recently. So I bought into this creators community, and there was this one framework that really helped me post my content, write my scripts, and embody like the person I want to be when I'm speaking on the camera. In the beginning, like I was just shooting out content generally to anybody who would want to watch it. I was not targeting it. And I read a thing, and I always had a big issue with knowing who I'm speaking to, because I couldn't really form or see the target avatar I wanted to help in my mind. But then I read this thing, or I was taught this thing, where you are the best mentor to yourself when you were like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, right? Because I'm assuming if you're like I myself had a sort of chaotic past. I was, very hedonistic, a lot of partying, a lot of drinking, a lot of abuse of different like substances and so forth, and just not being like a shell of who I am today, which I'm still working towards being better. But back in the day, if I had the knowledge I had now, I could have gotten out my hole super quickly. I could have, instead of taking 3 years to, like, through trial and error, figure out what the truth is and how I want to enter business and generate wealth for myself. I could have, like, if I had that knowledge, I could have taken a very quick shortcut. So to come back to my original point was, instead of just shooting out general content out there, what I've done, which has helped me a lot, and let me know if you do this as well, is I speak to who I was at my very lowest, which was 2019, when I had just started university and I was not doing anything with my life and just being a complete waste man. And if I could pass on some information to one person in order to help them, it would be that, because I understand all their pain points. I understand what their goals are. I understand their limiting beliefs. I understand what their biggest fears are, and I can tailor my content from that.
So as you're helping this Matthias from 3 years ago and prior, you're helping people who are going through that right now. But you're not thinking about where they are, who they are. You're just thinking about your previous self, your past self.
Right.
That's genius.
You'll be surprised about how many people were similar to who you were 3-4 years ago, right? And they'll naturally gravitate towards you. And like you said, instead of being artificially, artificially talking about value that helps, but it's not really you, you are now speaking, from the heart to who you were in the past, and indirectly to other people who are resonating with who you were in the past.
Yeah, that's gold. That's gold. So it's funny, you asked me if I do that. I haven't been really thinking of that lately, but you're reminding me like how important it is. And what's funny is that we sit with our clients and we tell them to do that, basically, because a lot of our clients are new, like completely new, and I've been in the game for a few years, so maybe sometimes I lose touch with the basics. So we get them clear on their story by sharing their brutal before, like all the crazy bad shit that they went through, to what they discovered that led to a transformation, and how they're amazing is now. They're now, wow, like the amazing transformation they went through. Because we're like, when you share your story, and then you're basically able to help the people who are where you were in your brutal before, because you were in it, you got through it. So like we teach that to our clients, and then I didn't think to do the same thing. Like I'm kind of like you, like thinking like, who do I target? Like, should I target this audience or that audience? Should I talk about this or that? So I'm really grateful for the reminder right now. Like, just talk to my past self, like where I was a few years ago.
Yeah, of course. And what would you tell your past self? Like, what knowledge would you pass on, or what limiting beliefs would you sort of break for them to understand like what could be, right? What's possible? Because when I was younger, I thought people who were successful were different. I thought that they were more intelligent. These were my limiting beliefs, right? This is something that I truly believed that was holding me back in the past. I thought these people were more intelligent. I thought these people were smarter. I thought they were born different, and I was just a level away from them. And that limiting belief kept me in the hole that I was, and stopped me from actually pursuing my goals and really trying to become an entrepreneur and make it in the business world. But now that I know that, and now that I know that's all bullshit, right? As you know as well, I could pass that on to whoever is going through the same thing in a really genuine way. Have you had like similar thoughts in the past? Like,
yeah, definitely. Like thinking, like looking up to people, thinking they're on this like platform, they're stars, they're like, you never picture yourself being there. And like for me, when I first got into what we call contentpreneurship, so like entrepreneurship with content as influencer, social media stuff, I was looking up to people in the health world and the raw food. I was really passionate about raw foods and healing. That's where I started my whole journey. And I was looking up to people like, you might not know some of these names, like Fully Raw Christina, but anyways, they're famous in that niche. And I never thought I would be like them. I never thought I would be an influencer. I was looking up to Carr, who you know very well from our team. He's he's leading our team right now, and I'm working side by side with him. But anyways, I was looking at him like on the screen, like he's the influencer. And I remember one day, like he put out a Snapchat, like he said some challenge, share something, and I'll respond to you. So I did it, and I was like, I don't feel like I'm at your level. And he responded, was like, what do you mean you're not at my level? Like, you decide your level. You could be at my level if you want. Like, so if you want to be at my level, just be at my level right now. And then I met him in real life at the festival. And then like I started being around him and other entrepreneurs and realizing, holy crap, like I could be at the same level as all these people. Like I never thought I could. And then I started making more content. And then now people are looking up to me, and it's just like crazy how far I've come. But a few years ago, I thought like I would never make content and put myself on the screen, and you know.
What would you tell? So let's say, because you reached out to Ted back in the day and he helped you crush your limiting belief, what would you tell to people who look up to you and think like, you know, wow, Kuba's established in social media, he's out there coaching people, helping them towards their goals. I feel like I have none of those skills, right? Like what would you tell those people?
I would probably tell them, most importantly, to be clear on like what do they actually want. Like take time to actually, that's one of the things I would recommend. Like take time to introspect is the word, I think, where you really like go within and get clear on what you want, journal it out, and then have that vision, and then spend time every day envisioning yourself where you want to be, because we can do anything we want on this planet. If we can imagine it, it can happen. And like the law of attraction, manifestation, that stuff, when you go through it a few years, you realize how real it is and how possible it is to achieve whatever you want. All you gotta do is spend more time cultivating that, as opposed to like, what tasks do I have to do? You know, things like that. It's like you have to be in this vibration. So get into that vibration as soon as you can by spending time visualizing, looking at your vision, like having a vision, whether you put magazine pictures up or print out photos, or you journal it, or you have a scrapbook, or you have an audio that you listen to every day. Have that vision clear and be in touch with it every day, and then you'll get to that level faster. So if you want to be like me and be making content, you could post something today and it might be crap, but you'll keep getting better if that's something that you want to do and it's in your vision. But be clear on your vision, like what do you want to do, and know that it's possible, and then just like feel that feeling of it happening.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's hard, like people often, you know, they overlook manifestation or like the law of attraction. They call it out as some like spiritual woo stuff, but it's actually so true. If you believe you're not going to make it, probably won't.
Science.
Yeah, it's a science. Like if you believe that you do, if you really, really, truly believe that you do, like your thinking, your subconscious mind is going to be veered towards you actually being already there, right? Which is the goal. You want to imagine yourself being you're already living the life that you want to be living.
And then you are. And then the universe is like making everything happen to bring you there as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Because it's like everything starts with the thought, right? Like if we want to get up and go for a walk to the restaurant and buy something, it's like we thought it first and then we got up and did the action. So why don't we think that with anything that we want?
You can anything, literally anything that you want. You could do. People don't understand. It could be anything. You could be if you wanted to the president of the United States. Will it happen? Most likely not. But if you truly believed it subconsciously, all your actions will be geared towards achieving that goal. It's kind of like self-brainwashing, right? For goals like that. But it can be anything that you want. That's what people don't understand. Have you read the Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah, of course.
It talks about that. Don't underestimate the power of belief. And this is literally something that's helped me so much. The journey through online business and entrepreneurship is so tough and so bleak. It's nothing like what it's made out to be online or on social media. There's no Lambos, there's no jet skis, there's no mansions in Dubai, maybe for a few moments in the year. But the reality of it, or the majority of it, is just pain, right? Right? Especially, I don't want to speak for you, but hustling. For myself, when you're building things out, you're literally failing as much as you can in order to gather as much data as you can to validate whatever project or product you are launching. And that process is extremely painful, right? You're dealing with rejection, you're dealing with failure, you're dealing with things being extremely overdrawn. And if you don't have a strong conviction or a strong belief, like we talked about, in yourself that this is actually your destiny, then you're going to quit. You're not going to make it. There's no point starting a dropshipping store because you just want to make money. You have to tie your actions right now to something you truly believe is right for yourself. And I think that's been the biggest catalyst of me being able to, almost like a madman, just keep on pushing despite not having like a bright future at certain moments of the journey and so forth.
That's inspiring. Yeah, well, that's one thing I would tell my past self for sure. Just like fail earlier. Just keep taking action. Like keep going forward, because even if it's something that's not meant for you, like you'll figure it out faster if you just take that action and realize like that thing falls off, that thing falls off, and then your destiny comes more and more clear. But if you don't take action and you're just doing things slowly, or you're frustrated because you're not making progress and then you give up quicker, you're never gonna know like the right path for you. So you have to really take action and just like fail so that you can get to success fast. Otherwise, you never get to success without failing on the
Yeah, literally. It's so counterintuitive, right? But like I've learned the most from my failures. And in some moments they felt like they were just failures, but in the long run, I can't remember any failure being a net negative. I don't know about you, but I've always been able to draw good lessons and good action items moving forward from really bad experiences.
Yeah, always. Even if there's something that brings me down to a rut or whatever, it always ends up being fuel to get back up and get to the next level.
What do you fuel yourself with? I know people have a different cocktail that they use, right?
Fuel myself with?
Yeah. So like emotionally, I meant emotionally.
But emotionally, I was just thinking like how much I love nature and being in nature. And with the entrepreneurial path and me being quite busy, sometimes I neglect that time in nature. But like having a Sunday off and being able to go out in nature is just like so rejuvenating, and then it just brings so much clarity to my mind, and then like Monday just becomes so much more powerful. So I think like having like that spiritual day off, time in nature once a week fuels me a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I don't know if you're like no days off kind of guy.
I'm
because I do sometimes don't take the days off, and I'm like, fuck, I love the days off. I love when I get one day off.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's funny because we're just talking about burnout, right? And I fell into the trap before of like that that toxic masculine stuff. Like you have to grind, you have to work, your 20s are made to sacrifice. You have to really push yourself so that when you're 30, you can retire, and then everyone else is doing their 9 to 5 or whatever. And I fell into that trap because I thought it was correct, because I didn't see any value in going to the traditional 9 to 5 route and then staying there for the next like 40 years, right? But I also realized I was a bit narrow in my thinking. And because of that, I would just be working every single day. My fuel was pure fear. My fuel was fear and insecurity. It was fear of failing, fear of being somewhere I didn't want to be when I was older, fear of not being a multi-billionaire at 24, which is absolutely ridiculous. And that led me to burnout. And I actually ended up in the hospital because I was working so hard one day.
Wow.
That I started feeling pain in my chest, and my face was all red, and I had pain in my right arm as well. And essentially what I thought I was getting a heart attack, and I was like, fuck, you know what I mean? I'm too young for this. But I went to the emergency service.
At 24?
Yes. I was like, I'm too young for this to have a heart attack. Like, why is this the case? And I had just been off a flight, so I thought I had a blood clot. But I went to the emergency room, we did some tests, and it was just, so when you get really stressed, you get like your stomach lining gets damaged, and you get ulcers, and you get this thing called acid reflux. So it's where like the ulcer kind of inflames everything, and it goes all the way to your body, and it mimics a heart attack symptom. So it was no heart attack, it was just some sort of stomach ulcer. But that really gave me a wake-up call, and I was also working in a pretty toxic environment at the time. And I really took a big break, and I looked at what my life was. And I also saw in that, like once I rested for a few days, the dust kind of settled. I saw that I was missing out spending time with my friends. I barely spent time with my girlfriends. And while I was with her, I was focusing on work, right? I was not being present. I was generating money just for the sake of making money. That's such a sad goal, in my opinion. You want to be generating money, obviously, to be financially independent, but to actually use it for things that are in line with your purpose. And I was doing all these wrong things, and I was getting fueled by the wrong thing. And now I do realize that, like, I don't work on the weekends. Sometimes when it gets busy, I do, but I spend time with my girlfriend, or my friends invite me out, I say yes. Because I realized that 20 years from now, if I'm a millionaire, but I lost all my connections, there's no point. So my close friends, I go see them. I maintain relationships. I spend a lot of time with my girlfriends. I stay healthy. I have time to myself. I have slow mornings. I wake up. I give myself
Whoa, beautiful.
2 hours meditation, walking, and no work. Just let my thoughts calm down. I'll write. I'll do some content and stuff like that. But yeah, like I did big pivot as to what.
But it's not like you have to. It's like a joyful process.
Exactly.
Wow, that's amazing. Everything you're saying sounds so nourishing and like vibes with me. I just want to share that. Maybe I went through an opposite 20s of you, and now, like, how old are you actually?
I'm 24.
You're 24?
I'm 24.
I thought you were talking about something that happened a long time ago. So this just happened to you?
This happened. Yeah. I had my burnout last year.
After I met you or before I met you?
Before you met me.
Okay. Well, I'm 37, believe it or not.
You look a lot younger. Let me tell you right now, man.
But like, I spent my 20s drifting. Like, I did all this cool shit, but I never had an aim. I was good at manifesting cool things like opportunity. I'd take it, but it was never like purpose driven. And then I would always going back home to my parents without like plans or nothing. So now I'm in my late 30s, and these past few years I've been into entrepreneurship like a lot more. That like toxic masculinity has been speaking to me more because it's kind of pushing me out of my comfort zone to be a man, to be more masculine. And that's why I'm like signed up for fighting now and like going to the gym and doing all this stuff. But I do agree that like I can't just do like David Goggins, like always pushing myself, because I will burn out. But like I know I need a balance. But my 20s were so like chill that I wish I had that masculine like push earlier in life, you know? I feel like I would have accomplished my goals way faster. So time is whatever, like everyone reaches their goals at different times, whatever's meant to be for your life. Like the guy, like Colonel Sanders from Kentucky Fried Chicken was successful with his chicken when he was retired, you know? Like everyone has a different timeline in their life. I'm grateful for where I am, but I feel like I needed a little bit of that masculine push in my mid 30s to finally like, you know, like not just sitting sorry for myself or wonder like why I'm not progressing. It's like, all right, get up and go to the gym, get up and do something, put some action in. Like that's how you get results. So there's like a balance somewhere.
it's like metronome, right? It'll always swing to the other side, and you want to like keep the swings as narrow as possible or keep them under control. And I also will say one thing is that I don't necessarily think, for example, the grind and everything is toxic. There is obviously a toxic version of it, but like Muay Thai fighting, that urge to go up there and work, like, and find value from your work, I think it's a very good thing, especially for men, because right now it's so hot, like with social media, with the media, and like everything, all the mainstream stuff, even the food that we eat, it's so easy for us to have our like, you know, instincts like crushed down, and we end up becoming a shell of ourselves. Like I don't want to speak for all the men out there, but I know that I felt my best when I really like, for example, I love martial arts. Martial arts allows me to channel my emotions in a very like, I find it a very beautiful sport, right? The camaraderie there is amazing. It's super cathartic, like it's very intense, but you also respect everybody who's there. You form a bond with other people, men and women who are part of your gym.
Yeah, my trainer ended the session with a namaste.
Why? Yeah. In Thailand, it's a sign of respect, right?
So like even if you with the person you fight, you do that as well?
After the fight, for example, you'll get on your knees and you'll give them you'll bow. It's a sign of respect, right? And in Thailand, for your elders, you'll be Sawadi Kap, Sawadi Kapi. It's like hello elder, hello sir, and it's really like they don't shake hands over there, which I really like. I like shaking hands too, but I like the way they respect their elders as a good hierarchy. Because in the West, there's almost no respect for your elders, right?
Yeah, I love it. You were saying about the balance, basically, that you're using Muay Thai to channel like your emotion.
Yeah, like finding the right release for your emotions, right? Because as I'm sure you know, this journey can be pretty stressful at times. And some people, for example, me in the past, I would release my emotions through booze or through partying, which was an unhealthy release of my emotions. And I didn't know what else, like I didn't have any options or vehicles I could release it in a healthy way to. And all I knew was just the bad stuff. So that got me stuck in my hole. But when you get older and you start to discover these different paths, martial arts, reading, running, spending time with your friends, real friends, and you know, maybe writing or any other hobby that you can actually generally express yourself, then you'll find to have a much stronger anchor and be able to like navigate this journey a lot better. And yeah, like that's basically my view of balance, is finding the right anchors, the healthy ones that give to you as opposed to taking away from you.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be talking to you right now and like vibing on this stuff, because literally just before the call, my colleague was like, you got to stop posting so much value posts and put more like yourself and be personal. And it relates to what you're talking about by doing stuff that allows you to be creative and channel your emotions in a positive way, and not being just like work, business. Because in those moments, like when I went to the festival, when I go to Mexico, I get in this flow, and I remember my thoughts even sometimes being like, oh, I should be recording content. I'm like, oh, screw it, I'm just enjoying the present moment. And then content just naturally comes up. I'm like, oh, let's record this without planning it. And I feel like that being creative and allowing myself to enjoy life how I want, in nature, with good people, like what you're talking about, work will come more naturally. And then success will come more naturally. It'll be like what we're talking about, the manifesting, as opposed like effortless manifestation, as opposed to like grinding for something. And then we kind of might be missing the target because our head is down, thinking we have to constantly grind, and we don't take time to take care of ourselves, to be creative, to enjoy this beautiful life. And then it's like, what are we grinding for? To have ulcer when we're 24, or you know, to like be rich and then miss all that time with their family and friends. Like maybe people pass away in the meantime. So yeah, definitely like a balance is important. And I'm living here in Mallorca, beautiful island, and I can have fun, explore the mountains, and just like bust out the camera and record some content while I'm having fun. That'll probably resonate with more people than just being in the office, like talking about some value.
Yeah, for sure. I heard this thing which I resonate with a lot, is that content is energy, right? It's all energy. And when you were in the pool in Mexico, when you were with your colleague at the shisha bar, when you were, when you're feeling yourself and you had that energy and you transmitted it through your content, those posts banged, right?
Yeah.
They hit the algo.
Exactly.
Someone could spit the best content or the best value, but if they are broken inside and they're talking about self-development, or if they talking about how to make millions of dollars but they're broke, like there's an incongruence over there. There's something that doesn't really match. But if you get a guy who's truly happy and who's telling you, hey guys, I'm feeling so fucking good right now, and I just want to tell you how I feel and what I did to do this, you will be like, damn, this guy looks like he's onto something, right?
Yeah, that's so true.
It just occurred to me as you were speaking right now, but like really, like a good framework is to really have the right energy whenever I'm speaking in front of the camera or when I'm posting my content. And one way that I've actually been able to do that was I would keep the phone rolling. So for example, you'd be speaking, your first few takes would just not work. I do so many takes and it never works, but I keep it rolling. And at one point I'd get so frustrated that I'll just snap at the camera. And what I'll say when I'm frustrated will be off the top of my head, but it'll be like raw. It'll be really what I'm feeling, right? I'm not putting on a fake smile. I'm like, hey guys, what's up?
It's just the frustration that naturally came out.
Exactly.
And it's not like you're trying to record it. You're just showing the camera the frustration.
Exactly. And it's just recording you being mad at yourself. But then you're like, oh, I got it. I got the energy. And then you can start saying what you want to say, right? And that has worked really, really well for me in the past, because I'm sure when you press play, you're like, but it's not real.
Yeah. So many takes like at the beginning, but then usually I'll flow after.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like at the beginning of this call, me and you, I don't know how early you pressed record, but we were talking about some stuff, and then we just naturally started like going off, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta press record because we're like hitting some gems. Yeah. So does that mean like you'll still go and like you'll plan times to film content, or after all that we talked about, is it better to not plan it too much and wait till we're creative? Like, how do we find that balance?
So I found that balance. It's still a work in progress, but so my goal is to really post every single day, right? If that's my goal, then there's going to be times where I'm not going to be 100% when I'm posting. It's just like there's no way around that, right? Like it's inevitable. So with that in mind, how do I find a way to make sure that my content remains as authentic as possible? And the way I did that was that, for example, when your friend's going through a bad time and you give them advice, you're not hyped to go to give them advice, right? You probably have some residual effects of their crisis or their depression or whatever they're going through, and you're actually putting in effort to help them because you're their friend. Same thing. It's not like you don't need to be enthusiastic to do it. You don't need to be disciplined to do it. They're your friend, right? And regardless of what they're going through, you're going to help them. So in the days where I'm not motivated to do content, or I'm not feeling like I have that energy, I'm still regardless speaking to who I was, like we mentioned before, on my past self who's going through a really bad time, and telling them what I think is going to help them get out of their bad states, right? And I don't need motivation, I don't need enthusiasm or energy for that. I just need duty, right? I need duty, I need discipline, and I'll be like, right, this is the person I care about, and indirectly all the other people who resonate with that. And I want to today, I need to tell them this because I know it's going to help them, because it would have helped me in the past, and I'm going to do it. And like that, you still retain some of the authenticity that you lack if you're just like, fuck, I have to talk about how to talk about how to write DM scripts for appointment setters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's a good thing to like a good takeaway of today's show or today's interview talk that we're having is really like talking to that old version of yourself, like what you were going through, how you can help yourself from a few years ago, because that will help a lot of people in that same situation.
Yeah,
it's a really good takeaway of this call.
Yeah, I agree. That would just add to anybody who is looking to do that, is that there are a lot of people out there who are very similar to you, right? But like yourself, if you're scared to put yourself out there and be vulnerable and authentic, why do you deserve people to come and watch who you are, right? Don't give them a fake version of yourself. Really be authentic and as vulnerable as you can be. Like I sometimes release secrets about myself that I haven't even told my parents, right? Or other people. And I do that because you really want to be as transparent as possible so that you attract the right people that you want. And if you want to attract the right people, be vulnerable.
Yeah, that's scary. But I'm working on doing that more and more too.
I love this conversation, man. I really got like, it didn't even feel like we were recording.
Yeah, this is so natural. Like I have this whole list of things I was going to ask you. I didn't look at it once. So this is really authentic. This is really natural. I love it. I think we vibe a lot. Like when I met you, I felt like we had a vibe, bro.
I agree, man. I agree. And I loved how this went. It was really nice. It felt like a normal conversation.
Where can the people find you, bro?
You can find me on Instagram at it's Matthias Laroche. So ITSMATTHIAS Laroche LAROCHE. From what I do, I'm a creator and I'm currently working in sales operations for different businesses. I help different businesses set up their sales operations and really crack the code of sales through email outbound, through DMs, and through appointment setting, basically. But mostly, I'm focused on really providing value through my content and building an audience. So if you vibe with anything that we said, drop me a follow. Drop Kuba a follow as well, in case you're seeing this cold on the algorithm.
Yeah, me too. You can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. Rawkuba, so like RAW, Raw. And Kuba's KUBA. Me and my team with Ted Carr and people we talked about, we help people launch and scale their online businesses as a coach or as a content creator. So I have a guide that shows you how you can travel and get paid while you're traveling. So you can check that in the links below.
And I will say one more thing is I've worked with Kuba and the Contrepreneurs team for a few scenarios now, and every single one has been extremely pleasant and extremely professional. So anybody's watching this, if you're thinking about working with them, do it.
I'm not gonna lie, our team is amazing. Thank you for that. And it was really cool working with you as well, bro. Like I feel it. I know like you're helping our team, you're helping our clients to be able to build their own like sales teams and setting teams and all that. So I think we help each other a lot, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Kuba.
Cool. Thank you, Matthias. It's really cool talking to you.